Hey. This is Dr. Kid again. And of course, you know what time it is. I'm running just a little bit late uh, this evening. And, but I'm here. Hey, listen, welcome to the show with Dr. Kid. It's called The Shake Up. And this evening, we're going to do something. Unfortunately, my guest is running somewhat late this evening. And, so I'm looking out there at the sunshine. We're going to make it shine inside of here, okay? So I'm just going to go solo with you this evening, and we're going to talk about just about some different things. All right. So if you would like to be a part of the show, if you'd like to be a part of the show, I'd like you to follow, share, subscribe for now. Okay, follow, share, and subscribe. Even though I'm going to be running solo, because listen, truth is, life is uncertain at the best of times, and and like I said, our guest is not going to be here tonight, but I'm going to be here with you tonight. So don't run away just because it's just me. All right. So we'd like you to still like, follow, share, and subscribe no matter what. Okay. And then if you would like to be a part of the show, if you'd like to be a part of you, consider to be a part of the show somewhere down the road. We'd like you to email Dr. Kit at gmail.com, and my team will get in touch with you, and they'll get you all squared away. All right. So if you'd like to be considered to be a part of the show, please do that now. You can be on camera or you can be off camera. We'd rather have you on camera, of course, but if you want to say, listen, let me just do this off camera. We've had some people do it off camera before, so that's going to be all right. Okay. So that's where we are tonight. Now, don't forget now, put your comments in the chat. We still want to see if we can get a hold of you tonight and just answer some of those comments as they come up. And so, listen, I'm gonna kind of walk you through something that can be a little bit contentious sometimes, because remember now, the shakeup is we don't change the structure. We just change the way.
Here's what I found.
We just change the way. I'm something just a little bit of difficulty here for a second. We're just going to change the way we organize things in our minds. So I'll be looking for something here, and tonight we're looking at forgiveness. Now that's a kind of a strange word, forgiveness. All right, forgiveness. Now we hear a lot of people say this, you got to forgive and forget. Well, that might be a problem in and of itself, forgiving and forgetting, because one of the major tenets of forgiveness is the capacity to remember what you are forgiving for or being forgiven for when you ask for forgiveness. So if you forget, then it's almost like doesn't make sense to go down through this whole, you know, issue of forgiveness, the whole subject matter, because you really have to be conscious. You got to make it really conscious in your brain. Got to be conscious. So if it's not conscious, then forgiveness really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So one of the things about forgiveness, though, is that it looks forward. It doesn't look backward, because if you go backwards with forgiveness, you stay stuck in the past. And I think that's a part of the problem with forgiveness. We stay stuck in the past. And if we're talking about forgiveness here, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain that's associated with the whole idea of forgiveness. A lot of pain, a lot of struggles that's going on there. And so you got to be able to move from that. Now, if you stay hunker down in that, then what you're doing is reliving all the pain and all the hurt from the past. And it's difficult to kind of settle yourself and move forward, because what happens is the situation that came up to create the need for forgiveness, you'll have this picture in your mind, and this picture is going to be there. And as long as you have the picture in your mind, a couple of things are going to happen. Either the pain is going to be there looking at you, waving at you, and then you got to deal with it. So now you say to yourself, listen, there's got to be something about me that want to do what? Not be controlled by the pain of the past, but I really want to be able to work my way through this thing. Some people say, well, when it comes to forgiveness, what you got to do is just drop it. Just drop it. The people say, just drop it. Well, let me tell you this. If this thing that I have here, this, if I have a fear of this, or if I don't want to deal with it, if I drop it, you know what's going to happen? It will remain right in the same place that I dropped it. It will be there like forever. So when we drop these things that has the capacity to be painful, it will remain in your conscious or your subconscious there forever. Now, it may not always be in your consciousness, but what will happen here is that there may be in your subconscious, and then when things come up to remind you, it might be a color, it might be music, it might be a piece of clothes, it might be just about anything. It might be the time of the year, it might be a song, it might be anything to remind you of this thing. So when you drop it, the moment you drop it and this stimulus comes up and reminds you of this, it comes right back and evokes all the hurt and the pain. But when you work it through, when you work something through, you gain mastery over this thing that you work through. Okay? So you can actually look at it, touch it, and feel it, and hear it, and do all of these things. Okay, and it does not evoke the kind of a horror in your emotions that it would if you did not work it through. So it makes sense not just to drop things, but to work it through. Then you have control over that part of your emotions that is going through the hurt and going through the pain. So that's one of the first things we want to say about forgiveness. It's not a matter of forgive and forget. It will be there. It will be there. And the way to deal with it is to work it through and gain some mastery over this. I'm going to read something for you here. Okay, similar. Okay, Mel Bean, thank you. How in the world can you forgive someone more than 70 times 7 when they're still messing up? Oh, now listen. Why do you want to ask me that question now? I knew I shouldn't have got into this thing about forgiveness. But listen, 70 times 7 is just a figurative number. All right. And it's biblical, 70 times 7. But I think what Jesus was trying to tell his disciples was that that forgiveness is not something that you do and then get your little chalkboard and go once, twice, 3 times. You don't do that. That's not how you forgive. Forgiveness is a sense of I have forgiven you, and because I have forgiven you, it means that now you don't have to pay. Your debt has been paid. So I just want to start out there. How in the world can you forgive someone more than 70 times 7 when they're still messing up? And so the idea here is not to count the mess up. What do you do? It's kind of different depending on the quality of the relationship that you have with the person. If it's let me say, if it's my wife, 70 times 7 will not be an issue. The fact here is, if I don't forgive her, then what will happen is that the quality of the relationship, because of the pain of the unforgiveness, will stop me and her from continuing to connect and grow our relationship. So remember now, forgiveness is not what I do necessarily for somebody else. I'm going to forgive her because I'm going to, by forgiving her, I'm getting rid of my stress of holding onto or harboring the pain and trying to control her, trying to create guilt in her. So what I'm doing is I'm doing myself a favor. I'm doing something for myself when I say to myself, you know, I can no longer, I have no desire any longer to continue to carry this load, in my, listen, let me give you an idea here. When our kids was little kids, you know, going to school, I remember our first child, our second and third child too. We have three children. We bought them backpacks, and these backpacks would be, you know, based on their size. Little people, little backpacks. As they grew older, we got them a bigger backpack. When they got to middle school, we got them a bigger backpack. When they got to high school, we got them this humongous backpack. Why? Because they had more stuff to put in it. Well, here is the problem. All of us have what I call an emotional backpack, you know, and this emotional backpack, what happens here is that it has unlimited space. Now you can continue to put all of your pain and stuff behind here, all of this stuff behind here, you know, and you just filling it up. So I'm going to stand up here. I'm on camera, and I'm going to try to stand up and try to demonstrate something for you. Okay. So just watch this. So here I am. Here I am. Let me turn this up here. Ah, there we go. We're good. So here I am putting stuff in my emotional backpack. And of course, this backpack, it just gets larger and larger and larger. And why? Because it's unlimited. And so after a while, I'm straight up like this. I don't have much in my backpack. And the more I put in the backpack, the more I'm bending over. Why? Because I have to create leverage. Got to create some leverage. In order for me not to fall backwards, I got to create leverage this way. So I'm putting more stuff in my backpack. The more I put in my backpack, putting more stuff in my backpack, I'm going down and down and down and down and down. And pretty soon, all the things that I should be forgiving people for is stuck in my backpack. And I'm looking at dirt. I ain't seeing nothing. I can't look up to see the bright sunshine. I can't look up to see the hopefulness. I can't look up to see the great things that are out there for me because I'm stuck with all this stuff on my back, in my backpack. So what I got to do is, as I forgive people, I'm stealing stuff out, taking stuff out. As I'm taking stuff out, I'm starting to stand up, walk up, stand up, walking up, standing up. And pretty soon when I empty my backpack, I've gotten rid of all the stuff that I need to forgive people for. Why? Because I don't need a person to be anywhere close to me. They don't have to be anywhere close by for me to forgive them. They couldn't be in 10 buck, 1, 2, or 10. As long as I can remember that something happened. And I'm saying to myself, I'm tired of carrying this load by myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to forgive that person, because when I forgive that person, I empty my backpack. Now I am free and I can walk, I can jump around, I can dance, I can do whatever I want to do. Why? Because I don't have that load on my brain. I don't have it on my mind. So forgiveness is really doing yourself a favor. It's an amazing thing to do. So don't think that you are holding a person hostage by not forgiving them. You're holding yourself hostage when you do not forgive people. So this whole idea of 70 times 7, listen, I don't care if it, listen, I don't want to have to forgive a person 70 times 7. I want to forgive them once, stand up straight. That's it. Listen, I want to, listen, every time somebody messes with me and I tend to go down, I want to tear it out of my backpack, come on up, and I'm going to stand straight and erect just like this. So this is what I would encourage you to do. Don't see this as having to forgive over and over and over. Just know that, listen, when a person violates you, It's not because of who you are why they violate you. People violate you because of the way they see themselves. Something about themselves will make them violate you. But of course, they're not going to tell you it's about you. It's about them. They're going to say something is wrong with you. And that is not the truth. There is always something about me that makes me do something. Just really quick, kind of long, but quick. It's don't count the numbers of times. It is your get out of jail, get out of stress, get out of guilt-free card. Now I'm going to sit down here again, okay? Now that I demonstrated that for you. All right. I'm hoping that was good. And then we says, Tracy Williams, can you truly forget once you have forgiven? That is my point here, Tracy. Thank you for that question. Thank you. Wonderful question. That is my point. You won't forget it, but it no longer has control over you because you took mastery when you said, I am at a place where I will no longer feel hurt and pain. I'm not going to carry it around with me anymore. And I can see the person, look at the person, do whatever I want to do, and I can go on through life. That person no longer has power over me, because not to forgive, every time you see that person and you started feeling pain, you started feeling all kinds of different ways. That's when the person, you have now given yourself mastery over that person. You want to maintain your self mastery by doing what? Say, I'm going to forgive. I'm going to create my own freedom. I got to get out of jail free card. I'm going to use it every time I feel somebody messes with me. All right. And so I just want to thank both of you for those two wonderful questions and observations. 7 times 7, and yes, sure, you're never going to be able to forget, and this is why it's important that you take full responsibility and mastery over yourself. Okay, Melody, I choose to love them from afar. Period. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be all up in them like this and all that. But the whole point is, I love the word you said. I choose to love them. Because if you don't love them, then you're going to have to deal with the frustration of wondering and the stress of, I can't love this person. I'm going to say, well, why, Melody? And you're going to have to tell me the reason why. And the moment you begin to tell me the reason why you can't love them, guess what? All the pain and the hurt from the past, why you can't forgive them, will come right back. Go bam, bam, bam. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Melody. I'm still here. But when you say, listen, I can love this person, but I don't have to be around them. If they are in need, I will fulfill their need. And when they don't need anymore, I can just keep on stepping. Now, that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. You don't have to put yourself in a place where you are always re-evoking the pain of the past. But we are still indeed our brother's keepers in the long run. That's what I got. Now, that's a great, wonderful question. And that is self-care. So, I want to thank you so much for that. All right. The questions are coming in, and I'm going to keep moving here until. All right. So this season, for those of you that are coming on a little bit late, okay, LNG. Listen, how do you work through severe pain? Now, let's kind of go down through this here a second. Let's talk about severe. The issue is pain. How do you work through pain? Severe pain is qualitatively pain. Now, I'm thinking that severe would mean that this pain is very harsh on the system, whether it's physical or emotional or whatever kind of pain it is. It's very harsh. And we're talking about emotional pain here, because even if somebody's doing something to you or has done something to you, okay, at some point you're gonna have it works like this. I'm aware that something is painful. Something came to me. Somebody stole something from me. I'm aware of that. So there is an awareness that something happened. And after the awareness, then you go to, I must accept the fact that it happened. Now, the key is you don't have to like what you accept. But as long as you are aware of it, then you have accepted the fact that it is. Okay? It is. And so the more severe the pain, and when if I could put it this way, some of the most severe pain that you can have at the human level, the bilateral level, is between two people. And the deeper, the more enduring and endearing the relationship. You've gone from here, where you're just coming around, and you kind of migrate towards each other, and then you get to where you're like this, very, very close. Now, if there is a fallout, if there's a violation here, then the offender and the offended will be the one who's feeling a lot of pain. And so the offended has to work that through. But let me just say this here. Sometimes the offender is also in pain because the offender can sometimes feel so disappointed in themselves that one of the things they want to do is to distance themselves from the offender because of maybe a shame factor. Right? So don't think that it's just the person who was offended that's in pain. Sometimes the offended, listen, man, I messed up and I feel so ashamed. I feel guilty. I feel all of that. And, it's tough. It's tough. So and sometimes we don't pay a lot of attention to the offender because we're saying, yeah, you deserve all of that. Well, maybe, but I think that requires some other kind of reframing and rethinking. But let's go back to how do you work through severe pain? Well, you first of all, you acknowledge that there is a pain. Of course, we know that. And the degree to which it has been painful, it will take time. Now, that's what I'm going to do. Now, each person will work through the pain and the severity of the pain. And the closer you were to a person, the unavailable, because sometimes, listen, if you have a really close relationship with somebody and it's broken for whatever reason, the joy and pleasure you used to get out of having this close relationship with a person, because of the fracture in the relationship, that person is no longer available. So that now creates distance between both of you. And here is a key piece. Here's a key piece. All right. Because of the pleasure of this relationship here. Look at this. Here's me and this is my wife. So we go like this. Do you know that we are touching like this? So there is something about me that gets pleasure out of being with her like this. Okay. And so when I'm not with her and she's not with me, the part of me that got pleasure out of doing this will no longer feel happiness. Why? Because it requires this. So because that's not available anymore, I'm also in pain. I'm in pain. Why? So now I'm going through my pain of loss, and she may be going through her pain of unavailability, spousal unavailability in either case. So the degree to which we were connected to each other, and the degree to which the relationship was satisfying, and we both get something out of this relationship. Okay. I need her to be available so I can get the degree of satisfaction I want. She needs me to be available so she can get it. So when there is distance between us, neither one of us going to be happy. All right. Neither one of us. So the closer the relationship, the more the alliance, the greater the satisfaction, and the more we enjoy each other's presence and companionship. Okay. When that person is no longer there, that's when the pain becomes so severe. very severe. That's one way of looking at severe pain. There are several other ways, but I want to do this because I like working with relationships. Okay, it becomes very severe. Okay, and so now what happens here is this. This is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy what I'm about to say. When my wife is just let me say I leave my wife. It ain't gonna happen, by the way. We've been married for over 40 years, so it's not gonna happen. When I leave my wife, okay, everything that she has invested in me emotionally, she can no longer take it back. It's not structural like that. Everything I've invested in her, it goes with her wherever she goes. It's gone with her. That part of me that I invested in her, it's gone with her forever. It is no longer available to me. So when she leaves, because she is in pain, when she leaves, I suffer loss because the part of me that's invested in her is gone with her. So now she's in pain because of my violation, and I'm in pain because of her unavailability to me. You understand what I'm saying here? So working through that will depend on the kind of pain. It also depends on your tenacity, the kind of a person that you are. It will depend on the meaning of what caused the pain. It will depend on the meaning of the unavailability of the object. I'm going to say object, not a thing, but object relations theory of the object that was available that made you feel the way you wanted to feel. And so all of those things, we call those losses, L-O-S-S. The greater the loss. And loss is not when you just throw something out there. The greater the loss, unwanted experience, a loss. The greater the loss, okay, the greater the pain. The greater the pain, assumingly, it's going to take a lot longer for you to heal. But if you don't heal, you carry that stuff with you as long as you didn't get it out of your backpack. Listen, if forgiveness is all about unloading your backpack, it will make your face go to the ground like I just demonstrated. You'll never get to see the sunshine of hopefulness again. All right, listen, I'm trying to go down through it. Listen, this, you know what it is? I wish we had it so we could have a dialogue. Oh man, that would be really good. But I'm just having a monologue. And you're probably saying, well, yeah. And I understand that. And that is true. But if we could have a dialogue, I could understand what you mean by severe pain. And I might even ask you, well, what is the pain like? What kind of a pain was it? Okay, so just forgive knowing that I can't answer it the way you might want me to answer it, okay? All right, Melody Bean. Separation anxiety hurts severely, 100%. Melody, thank you for that. It hurts. But Melody, here it is. The greater the attachment, the greater the satisfaction. All right? And so the greater the separation, the greater the pain. All right? And the greater the pain, sometimes what happens here when we go through separation anxiety and pain like that, we try to, instead of working it through, remember we talked about working it through, don't drop it, work it through. Instead of working it through, what some people do to deal with separation anxiety because they don't like to be alone. Or they may have invested so much that the separation is so painful. Either one, and others too, okay? What they do is, if they don't like to be alone, they get into rebound relationships. Sometimes it can happen. Rebound relationship, by that, what I mean is, I don't like being alone for a number of reasons. Just because I don't, there is something about me being alone that is uncomfortable. There is something about me being alone that makes me think that I'm not worth having people being around me. And so in order for me to quell, lessen that thought about myself that I am unworthy, what I do is I seek after people. The problem with that is when we seek out people to satisfy a part of ourselves that we are dissatisfied with, okay? And when we're not talking about the development of a real enduring relationship, because after a while, we start taking from people, taking, 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 they come to understand that we are not bringing any. This is a relationship. Meaning that it's the prefix over and over. We have to do it over and over, give over and over, take over and over, forgive over and over. So in order for for that to happen, we've got to be able to say, listen, separation anxiety. Am I having separation anxiety because I was diagnosed with separation anxiety? Or am I going through an experience that somebody will cause separation anxiety? Now that we've discovered that I have separation anxiety, a diagnosis can never tell you about how you are experiencing separation anxiety. It may be able to look at your behavior, your what, your when, your where, your why, your how. They can look at those things and make a decision, which is a diagnosis, and give your diagnosis and say, well, look, it seems like, but listen, your experience of yourself, nobody else on the planet can and will ever know what your experience of yourself is. Why? Take a look at the word experience, meaning that it's something that is not subject to the rubrics of science. Science can study your what happened, when, that's temporal, where, that's place, why, you can give a reason, and how, that's method. What, when, where, why, how. Science can kind of mash their way through those things. But when it comes to how am I feeling up here, this is a dark place. Dark place. There's nothing up there that you can put a scope into and say, oh, I can see this little tumor up here that says that this person is going through pain and separation. You can't do that. It is an experience, and only you can have that experience. And one of the things about an experience is that once you've had an experience, you cannot repeat that experience. You can repeat a behavior that gives you a similar experience, but you cannot experience that experience again. Now, I can talk to you about the experience. I remember one time I was playing basketball with my two sons, and I broke my foot. It was very painful. Guess what? I'm telling you about the experience I had over 20 years ago, and I'm not feeling the pain. So the experience does not necessarily replicate the pain, but that's physical. Now, some emotional pain can replicate that, unearth it, bring it back again into your sphere, your emotional orbit. But if you go through this forgiveness piece, which is what I'm trying to tell you, forgiveness, it gives you mastery. I keep telling you that, mastery over the self. So try and get involved in taking care of yourself by, getting yourself with self-mastery. Okay. All right. Separation anxiety. Oh man, y'all are getting me here now. Ellen G is back. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't even begin to go down through all the various stages of forgiveness, but that's okay because we're having a great time. Ellen G, what if I feel, okay, and thought I had forgiven someone, and I still have some sort of resentment I can't seem to figure out or to let go of? Don't let it go. Work it through. What if I feel or I thought I had forgiven someone and still have some sort of resentment? Well, if you have some kind of resentment, you know that resentment and forgiveness, they are antithetical. They are not even the same. They are totally different. When you forgive, there is no resentment. But as someone said earlier on, I can love from afar, so I keep rolling. Listen, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense, okay? It doesn't make sense to go fooling around with a dog that bit you once before. It doesn't mean that you won't feed the dog behind a fence if the dog is hungry. I know it's a crude way to look at it, okay? But what I'm saying here is that if you feel that you are still having some resentment, check yourself. How do you check yourself? I'm going to show you how you check yourself. Give me a second here. Don't go anywhere. I'm in my little studio here. I'm going to show you a weapon. And I'm so glad I'm in Alabama. You don't need permit to carry a weapon. Here is the world's greatest weapon. Check yourself. Look into yourself. Ask yourself, did I forgive that person to placate or just to make myself feel like I have done what God expects me to do, or what the church expects me to do, or what I expect them, or what other people expect me to do? Did I forgive, or did I go into that dark place of my mind and said, you know what? If I don't forgive this person, I will remain in a dark place for the rest of my life, and I will never be able to see that person without unearthing, exhuming. Listen, let me tell you something. When you don't forgive a person and you have resentment, you're grave digging, okay? If you think that you forgave the person and you're still having difficulty with it, you're a grave digger. You're going back into the grave to dig something up that you worked through, and you worked it through, and you said, listen, I'm going to bury this thing. I'm going to bury it. So you don't want to do that. So if you are still having resentment, it's no longer about the person. It's now about you. And the resentment that you're having will be directly linked to your ongoing pain of what happened. The person is free. You told the person they're forgiven, all that kind of stuff. They're gone off into la la land. They're out there having a great time, and you're having resentment. Who's in prison? You're the other person. That you are. And once you have forgiven the person, okay. Once you have forgiven the person, this is not a court of law, but it is a court of love. Once you have forgiven a person in the court of love, you have no business going back and talking to the person about it. None. None. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that question, Ellen G. I'm just hoping that will that answered your question. Listen, just keep the comments coming, keep the questions coming. Okay, I'm enjoying these questions. It's better than if I was to go down through the things that I have here, because now you see, now I'm getting into you, the people, the watcher, the audience, and it brings some dynamism to this whole process, as opposed to me just thinking that, listen, this is all there is to it. So remember now, I was saying that forgiveness does not look backwards to what happened. It looks forward to what needs to happen. There you go. It doesn't look backwards to what happened. It looks forward to what needs to happen. What needs to happen after you have forgiven a person? If forgiven a person, there should be what? Listen to this word: reconciliation. There you go. You should be able to reconcile with this person. Reconcile. Now, it doesn't mean that you got to put yourself in harm's way, but you should be able to reconcile, at least have some amicable social contact, social intercourse with this person. All right. You should be able to do that. So it looks forward, look back to what happened. You work that through so you can move forward to what needs to happen. And so it works like this, I have something I don't want, and there's something I want that I don't have. How do I go from what I have? How do I go from what I have that don't want to what I want but don't have? You got to work on, first of all, making room, to get what you want that you don't have, by working through what you have that you don't want. Not so hard, but it is. It's not that easy either. I'm just talking right now. Okay. Forgiveness does not take you backwards to what happened. It takes you forward to what needs to happen. Definition. Listen to my definition of, and we're not going to be able to get much past much of this. Keep those questions and comments coming in. Please keep them coming in. And even though we don't have a whole lot of time here, you can always email me, for more information. Okay. And you can email me. It will go to my team, but I also get those emails. Okay. It will come to Dr. Kid Speaks at gmail.com. Okay. So just send it out to Dr. Kid Speaks at gmail.com. Just email me your questions, your comments about forgiveness. All right. I remember I was doing a seminar on forgiveness, and after I did the seminar on forgiveness for about 2 weeks, after I did the seminar for about 2 weeks, I was getting emails, not because they did not understand, but people were beginning to express. People from different parts of the country that they're beginning to express themselves about this whole idea of forgiveness, because the shakeup does not change the fact that something happened. It just changed the way you see yourself, seeing what happened and experiencing yourself. Okay, because this is Shake with Dr. Get. So send that information to to Dr. Get Speaks at gmail.com. We'll get to it. Okay, so let me give you my definition. Of forgiveness. And this is a crude definition. Okay, it says to give up your entire claim to punish another person. Bingo. Once you have forgiven somebody, you don't have the right to punish the person for what happened. You gave it all up. Now let me back up and say, listen, if you feel that you have asked for forgiveness from somebody, significant or otherwise, no matter the relationship, if you feel that you have asked for forgiveness, you crawled on your knees and begged, you cried, you did everything you did asking for forgiveness, and you asked God for forgiveness, that person have lost all of their power over you, because once you ask for forgiveness, you don't have to wait around to find out if the person forgave you. You did your part. You just take that stuff out of your backpack and just keep whistling on down the road. You have asked for forgiveness. If they don't want to forgive you, guess what? They are holding on to what you have already let go of. Is it? So when you ask for forgiveness, your heart should be happy. You have done it. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't feel some sorrow sometimes and say, how it is. We can feel a little bit sad sometimes, or sometimes things will come back into your mind. Everything that happens, important things have their anniversary time or place or date or whatever, or smell or taste or whatever it is. So it might come back with you. So, what I do, I pray. I just want to pray it out the way. So yes, when you have asked for forgiveness, one time, and feel good about the fact that you have spoken to the person. If the person don't want to talk to you and you are asking for their forgiveness, this is what you do. You get your mirror, you stand in front of the mirror, and you talk to yourself and tell yourself what you wanted the other person to hear you saying. And in the end of that, when you and God work it through and that stuff has gone out of you, guess what? It is no longer in your domain. It's not on you anymore. That person see you and want to walk around the other way, hey, they're getting their steps in. That's all I can say. Hey, get your steps in, because you're trying to get away from me and I'm trying to just go down the straight and narrow. Let them get their steps in. Now they are having a problem. You ask, but they're holding on to it. Why are they holding on to it? Because they want to try to control you some way through creating and or maintaining guilt. So you're going to say, I'm not going to carry that stuff. I'm going to take it out of my backpack and I'm going to keep on going down the road. So listen, to give up all claims to punish the other person. Forgiveness. You gave it up. If you don't, then you've been lying to yourself. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to be straight up with you. Just been lying to yourself. If you want to punish a person, put it on a flag, wave it in the wind. Hey, remember when you did this? Remember when? Remember. Oh, I remember when you did this. Listen, if you go down that road, the only person you're punishing is yourself. You will punish yourself like that. Okay, so give it up. You have given up all of that. Okay, punish the other person. Or to exact any penalty, you can ask them for, listen, I forgave you, and so therefore you owe me. I ain't owe nobody nothing. I don't own it. Listen, forgiveness is free. That's the first thing you got to say. It is free. They don't owe you anything once they have forgiven you. You ask for forgiveness. If they don't forgiveness, you are free. If they forgive you, you are free. You are free anyhow. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're free. And so they don't have to say, well, I will, you know how some people, I will forgive you, but there is no but in forgiveness. You won't find a B in the word forgiveness. You won't find a U in the word forgiveness, and you won't find a T in the word forgiveness. So you can't create but out of the word forgiveness. You just can't. So when they say, I will forgive you, but just say, I feel your forgiveness, and just keep on moving. Just keep on moving. Please don't create a prison for yourself by giving into other people's need to control you, because that's what it is. They're trying to control you because they're in pain. Because they're in pain, they want you to idle like a car idle in pain. You kind of when your car is idle, it's just stuck in one place, but the engine is still running, using energy, using gas, but going nowhere. That's what it looks like when people want you to stay in their idleness, because they are afraid to move forward, because moving forward will introduce them to a new piece of themselves. And when they may not like this new piece of themselves, so they stay resident in that place where they are. They want company. So they're going to try to make you feel like you're the bad guy to keep you there. Okay. There's no penalty against them for any wrong acts they have committed against you or anything resulting negative. Okay. To cancel, here's the part of forgiveness now. To cancel your negative feelings about another person without expecting rewards. You cancel that, a cancel check, you tear it up without expecting any rewards from the person. Don't expect the person to come and give you $1,000. Man, I feel so good. You got $1,000 right here. Yeah. Oh, so it doesn't happen. Oh, okay. Honey, baby girl. All right, let me see what you got. What about when you forgive someone and you no longer want to deal with that person? Let me just say that. Listen, you can forgive somebody, but the person may not be good for your growth and development, your continued growth and development. So when you forgive certain people, it might make sense for you to limit your association with a person. Now, if the person is in danger, their lives are in danger, then that's a different issue. Help the person, because the person is just another person whose lives are in danger. But you don't have to coagulate with them and hang out with them. What about when you forgive someone and you no longer want to deal with that person? There is no law that says forgiveness requires you to deal with a person. Just don't hate them. Just don't hate on them. Just don't discard them. Make yourself available if and when necessary, because they are toxic. I understand what toxicity is. When a person is something that is toxic, like vinegar or something like that. Listen, if you go swimming in vinegar, after a while, your skin is going to have a terrible, terrible condition. It is toxic. And some people are just emotionally toxic. Why are they emotionally toxic? I'm going to tell you one of the reasons they're emotionally toxic, because they have their toxicity here, and they want, and they can't deal with themselves when they get in front of the mirror and they have to deal with this person here. They want people to stay in place. They're looking to build a team of toxic people so that they can feel it. They're toxic, but they keep trying to force their way back into your life. That's what I'm saying. They are trying to build a team of toxicity, people who are toxic. Okay. They're trying to force their way back into your life. Maybe they're trying to force their way back into your life because they have now discovered, oh, how painful it is for them now that they have lost that which was wonderful to them. But you don't have to make yourself available for ongoing or further abuse. If you do that, you have given yourself completely over to the control of the other person. If you do that, then you are borderline, or maybe even right in there, self-hate to please people. And or you may be saying to yourself, I would rather have somebody than nobody. And or if I can have somebody, at least I won't be all by myself. All of these and other reasons why you may take back that person when it's toxic. But I'm saying nothing wrong with saying, hey, I love you, I forgive you, but we just don't mix. Oil and water just don't mix like that. And say, I will see you, and then you go on about your business. All right. So now we're doing the shake up. We're still here on the shake up with Dr. Kid. And the reason I'm doing this tonight, is because my guest was not able, and because my guest was not able, I had to prepare. I'm always prepared for something. And guess what? I had some amazing guests on with me tonight. All of you were my guests tonight. You were off camera, and I loved it. I loved it so much. As a matter of fact, another time I'm going to try to go down through this thing called forgiveness, okay? Because there are about 11 points that's on it, and I didn't even get past the definition. So we got a whole lot of stuff left in this thing here. So we might do that. But I thank you all, my guests who tuned in, who was here tonight, those of you online, and those of you that had your questions and your comments. I certainly enjoyed that. And listen, if you would like to be considered to be on the program, since you were on the program incognito, on the program out there, sending all these hard questions to me, which I loved. I enjoyed it, not because I knew that you were right in it. And not only that, I got a feeling that some of those questions are really personal, to say, listen, I'm here at this place. I'm here at this place. So you can get in touch with me at drkidspeaks@gmail.com, but also get in touch with my team at the same email address if you would like to be on camera. Or I'd love to host you. Just come on. If forgiveness is what you want to talk about, I will engage you, because what I'm talking about, forgiveness here, is not your forgiveness, not your experience of forgiveness. Okay. So come on by. You had some really great questions. I really thank you for being my team tonight, being my audience tonight. So I'd like you to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. Especially those of you who had your questions. Well, I don't know if I answered them, but I attempted to answer your question. Share those things. Share those and say, listen, when I asked this man a question, he didn't have a clue what he was saying. Or, hey, I got it. I learned something tonight. Okay. So follow, like, share, and subscribe. And I thank you so much. I look forward to this again. And by the way, because of travels, I will be out of town next week. I'll be out of town next week, and I will not be in a position to have to be in front of the microphone with you next week. So we will not have a shakeup next week. But come the following week, you save up all your stuff and you rebuked me. Where were you last week? We had all this stuff that we wanted to deal with. Okay. and and, and I will get it done. But I'll be traveling next weekend. I'll be traveling for a few days, which will include next Monday. So I will not be here. I thank you so much. Thank you for being on the line with me tonight. May the good Lord bless you, and you take care of yourself. And I look forward to seeing you again if I'm willing. And if you're able, we'll make this connection again last week, because this is what the shake-up is all about. You and me coming together like this, shake it up, okay? Thank you much. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.